Hi there, this is Richard Walker, and in a change from regular scheduled programming, we'll be looking today at how you can create your own AI startup. Or, if working in the tech industry is not your thing, and it may not be, we'll instead be looking at making you the next Hollywood star and social media sensation, with all the trappings of that role. On the other hand, if your ambitions are still lofty but somewhat more grounded, we'll show you how to open and run your own guitar shop. All of this and more is brought to you by Auto GPT, at the time of video production, a technology that's causing quite a stir in the tech industry. In this video, we will show you why Auto GPT is such a big deal, how you can install it, and what to do with it once it's installed. We'll also look at how it works and what it means for the future. So grab your business plan, head to your movie star dressing room and jump into the world of Auto GPT. For those of you who want to install the technology themselves, I've made an appendix to this video which will help you get set up with Auto GPT. At its core, Auto GPT is a chatbot, but a chatbot with a difference. Its key skill, at least in Lucidate's opinion, is its mastery of prompt engineering. Where most chatbots focus on giving you the best answer, Auto GPT focuses on coming up with the right questions. Auto GPT will build you a custom assistant. Think of Tony Stark's Jarvis in the Iron Man movies. You'll provide some key information, firstly the role of the assistant, and then up to 5 goals for the assistant to accomplish. Auto GPT will use this information, further information it gathers from you, and information it gathers from the internet to produce the right questions in the form of prompts. Here is the information I gave it to help build and grow an AI startup. With the role defined, the goals were to determine a niche, write a business plan, obtain funding, hire staff, and run the firm profitably. Armed with this information, my assistant, which I named AI Co, shared its thoughts, its reasoning, and its initial plan. It also looked at the potential pitfalls and drawbacks in its approach in this section called criticism. If I read Auto GPT's outputs each time, then I think this will be a very lengthy and frankly annoying video. But please feel free to pause the video should you wish to study the AI's responses more thoroughly. At the end of this, my assistant concluded that the first step would be to investigate underserved niches. It proposed doing this with a web search. At this point, I can either agree or suggest another course of action. I agreed. This resulted in the return of a bunch of documents at the top of a Google search. An initial thought the AI had, based on the content of these documents, was that blockchain AI could be an ideal candidate for our startup. But the AI wanted to be sure. Its reasoning was to evaluate the feasibility of niches, and its plan was to get more detail on this sector before committing. It wanted to be sure it was objective in its evaluation of the niche before making significant further progress. This resulted in another Google search, more targeted this time at market size and competitive analysis. Now, we'll return to this company building example in a minute. Auto GPT has only just got started and there's still lots more to come. But before diving too deep in this scenario, let's look at the approach for a different task, that of making someone a movie star. So we go through the same process as before, supplying a role and up to 5 goals. Once again, the AI shared its thoughts and reasoning. It was somewhat more cautious in its approach for the movie star task and more aware of its own limitations. It concluded that increasing social media presence was a good first step for a movie star, and once again sought to get further information on this with a web search. This returned a list of popular social media platforms that our assistant seemed comfortable with. It then sought to get some information on demographics so that it could prioritize specific social media platforms based on the desired audience demographics, and it selected Statista as the place to go for this demographic information. Sadly, it realised that the initial information returned was not quite what it was looking for. Undeterred, it sought another route to get the desired demographic data, and this time it appeared to be more successful. Now again, we'll return to our budding movie star and our aspiring tech entrepreneur in a few moments, but this seems like a good opportunity to look under the hood and see what's going on. Modern transformer neural networks, which is what Auto GPT is built on, are remarkably similar to humans in many subtle ways. One is learning and memory. Simple neural networks can perform complex tasks, but can only do what they were trained to do. More complex transformer neural networks, like the transformers used in NLP tasks, can learn entirely new capabilities after they've been trained through a technique called few-shot learning. Let's explain. At their core, neural networks are a set of algorithms designed to recognize patterns in data. They're modeled after the human brain, and like the brain, they learn from experience. Here is a simple neural network with one input neuron, one hidden layer of 10 neurons, and one output neuron. And this network is designed to learn the sine trigonometry function. This simple neural network learns by taking an input value in degrees or radians and passing it through the hidden layer of 10 neurons to generate an output value. This network has 12 neurons and 20 weights. These weights each multiply the input data before they're fed into a neuron. During training, the network's output is compared with the target output, and the loss, the difference between the network's output and the target, is used to update the weights via a technique called backpropagation. This process continues until the network can accurately predict the sine function. You can add another layer of neurons to the network if you like, and it will now have 22 neurons and 120 weights. This larger network can map the sine function a little more accurately than the smaller network. Transformers, however, are a more complex type of neural network. Transformers are the underlying architecture for GPT-4 and Chat GPT. A key feature of transformers is that they can continue to learn once they've been trained, a technique called few-shot learning. In a transformer, the input sequence is tokenized, converted into what's called an embedding vector, and processed by the transformer to generate an output sequence. And these networks can be huge, with tens or hundreds of billions of parameters, dwarfing the 100 or so in the simple network from earlier. The transformer and the simple network differ in complexity, but not in operation. During training, the transformer network's output is compared with the target output, and the loss is used to update the weights via backpropagation, over and over and over again. This process of learning, backpropagation, is not unlike how humans learn, either for the simple network or the more complex transformer. We go to school, college, and learn vocational skills at our jobs. Because we practice these skills over and over and over again, they become part of our long-term memory, with dedicated neural pathways allocated to them. On the other hand, there are things that we might be casually interested in, like movies an actor has been in, or the average summer temperature in Mykonos. We might go to the internet to research such things. They become part of our short-term memory, and we can recall them, at least in the short term, with ease. We might use such a scheme to acquire expert knowledge in a field for a short time, but if we don't reinforce this newly acquired knowledge, it will eventually fade. And this is akin to few-shot learning in a transformer. So one way to think about what Auto GPT is doing is to utilize both the learned capabilities of the base model, which is GPT-4, and combine that with some intelligent agents that can search the internet to bring back relevant documentation for few-shot learning. And it's this combination of the base model's learned language capability and the injection of subject matter expertise from the expert questions asked by the agents that massively improves the overall capabilities of the model. So this model is great at generating prompts. in essence asking the right questions, not just of the user, but of the data that has been retrieved. This ability to learn on the fly and ask the right questions is what makes Auto GPT unique. This is why you should think about using this type of AI in your business. Answers are just answers, but answers to the right questions are gold dust. As promised, let's return to our AI startup assistant, and we can see it's made some progress while we've been away. It's gathering information to form the basis of its business plan. If we scroll further ahead, we can see evidence of further progress still as it's seeking to research who the best investors for this startup might be. Furthermore, it's looking to assemble a pitch deck for these investors. This is Richard Walker from Lucidate. Thanks for watching. In this video, we've looked at Auto GPT, a chatbot that focuses on prompt engineering rather than just providing answers. The key feature is its ability to learn on the fly and ask the right questions by utilizing the learned capabilities of its base model, which is GPT-4, and combining that with some intelligent agents that can search the internet and bring back relevant documentation for few-shot learning. This allows Auto GPT to generate custom assistance for various roles and goals, such as helping to build and grow an AI startup or making someone into a movie star. Its ability to ask the right questions is what makes it unique and valuable in the business world. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing to be notified when Lucidate drops further videos. For those interested in installing Auto GPT yourselves, stick around until after the Lucidate sculpture and I'll provide an Auto GPT quick start. Have the other lot gone? Good. Just us. Okay, to install Auto GPT, you'll need a few things. Firstly, you'll need an OpenAI key and GPT-4 access. Secondly, you'll need a Pinecone API key and a Pinecone environment. You can sign up at OpenAI and Pinecone's website to get all these things. Thirdly, you'll need a copy of Python 3.8 or later and an IDE. I'm using PyCharm and Python 3.11, but you can use whatever you wish. The first thing to do is set up a virtual environment. I'm calling mine Auto-GPT, but again, you can name yours whatever you like. Then go to GitHub and search for Auto-GPT, and you should see the page on your screen. Scroll down a couple of pages to the installation section, and you can see the command to clone the repo. If you copy this and paste it into the terminal in your IDE, then hit return, you'll begin to download all the code from GitHub. Once that's complete, you can install the Python libraries. First, cd into the Auto GPT directory, and then execute the pip command. Here it's pip install -r requirements.txt. You'll install the relevant libraries, and if you like, you can check that the folders and files in your IDE match those in the GitHub repo. They will. Once that's done, you'll need to make a couple of config changes and you're good to go. So firstly, you'll need to go to the root directory and change the name of the .env.template file in that Auto GPT folder to be simply .env. And then you'll need to paste in your OpenAI key as well as your Pinecone credentials into the appropriate locations in that .env file. Once you've done that, then all you need to do is type python scripts/main.py in your terminal and you are good to go. If you're short of ideas on how to start, then how about working with your AI assistant to build a guitar shop? Best of luck with all of your endeavors, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks. This is Richard Walker from Lucidate.